Cool. And action. All right, cool. Well, hello everybody. I am Inge, and I'm going to talk to you today about how I made a cat cafe using UEFN. This is a project that I've been working on for the past 3 to 4 months and have gotten very, very overly obsessed with it. So yeah, I'm super excited to tell you basically a whole lot about UEFN and my process of using this platform, and give you kind of an overview very much from like the start of using UEFN, also through like some the things that I learned along the way to up until publishing. So I hope you get like a good kind of understanding from like high to low level of this kind of thing. Just a question for the crowd. How many of you have used UEFN here? Okay, cool. How many of you are interested in using UEFN? Okay, sweet. Well, it's good crowd spread. So let's just get right on into it. Let's go. So I was really excited. I actually didn't know that the theme was empower until I started putting like my slides together, and I was like, that is actually so incredibly important and so incredibly meaningful, especially for this talk and for my project, because using UEFN for me was incredibly, incredibly empowering. As an artist, I should give you a little bit of a background. I am an artist. I come from a background of ceramics. Very random. I am now the art director of a game studio in Sydney called Lemonade Games, and we are working on a game called Mystiques, which is about haunted antiquing. We're not going to be talking about that today. Today is about cats. But yes, so using UEFN for me was incredibly empowering, because me as an artist, I never thought that I would be able to solely make a game by myself. I just thought I will always need a programmer. I will never be able to like program the mechanics and everything myself, and just to be able to say this project is my own. But UEFN empowered me to be able to do this, and it was just incredibly gratifying. So perfect theme for this. So let's start from the very beginning. What is in this talk? We're going to talk about UEFN. We're going to talk about the Cat Cafe. We're going to talk about cool tools and tricks and how to publish your game. So, let's go. What is UEFN? Let's start at the very, very beginning. UEFN stands for Unreal Editor for Fortnite. It is basically the Unreal Engine 5 interface within this platform. And the cool thing about it is that you can make your games and then publish them on Fortnite. So this little box here is what you see inside Fortnite, and that's where your game will end up for people to be able to play your game with their Fortnite characters, which is just very, very fun and very, very cool. And this is some of the examples of some of the other things that you can see up on the store. There's a whole lot of different things in there, and there's a whole lot of different categories. But there's only one cat cafe. All right, so start from the very beginning. I'm not going to tell you how to turn on your computer, but I will tell you that you can access it through the Epic Games Launcher, and you could just download it from there. And then the other thing that you will need if you're wanting to make this kind of thing is you'll need the Fortnite Creator Portal, and that will like make you able to publish the thing. So they're basically the two things that you need. Let's start Cat Cafe. This was my reference board, a beautiful, tranquil little cottage in the forest, and of course cats inside that beautiful little tranquil forest. The idea from the beginning was literally me just like, I want to learn what this platform's all about, so I'm going to make a little art environment, and that is it. It's not going to be a game. It is literally just going to be a little house in the woods. Boy, was I wrong. Boy, did that snowball. Yeah, it went from this to then being an entire island and a fully functional game. So let's go on that journey together. It all starts with the map. This is what you'll see when you first open up UEFN. It'll be like, what do you want to start with? You can start with any of these islands. You can start with a blank scene as well. There are some that have little biomes. Some of them come with trees. You can choose to not have trees. There are lakes and stuff as well, which is really cool because like it's nice to not have a blank canvas, and you can always just like chop it up once you get there. I should mention these things on the right here. Very, very cool. The Unreal revision control basically means that you don't need to use Perforce or Git. They have their own native source control inside of there, so that's really freaking useful. And yeah, so when you choose one of the island templates, this is what you've got. There's like trees, and there are some spline lakes in there. There's like the landscape materials are already set up and everything. Yeah, really, really cool. There's also team selections as well, which is on your creator portal. You can invite people to join in and collaborate with you. So yeah, you can do that there. You don't have to do it at the beginning. You can always add people along the way as well. Okay, let's talk about landscaping. For those of you who use UE5, this will all be very familiar to you. So this is the island that I was going with here. As you can see where that little tree populated area is in the middle, that is where the Cat Cafe is. And it doesn't look like it here, but this island is freaking humongous. So I just grabbed the flatten tool and I flattened down that whole landscape there. So as you can see, the landscaping tools, all the same stuff that you see in Unreal Engine. So that's super cool, and for a Unreal developer to jump in and just be like, cool, I already know the tools, this is easy. There is also the paint layers are set up. Really cool, they've already actually set up the paint layers for you, so you don't have to like, you know, make your own thing, but you can always drag and drop your own materials onto that as well. It's just nice that it's natively already in there for you to just like get started and do that. There's no sculpting layers at this point in there, but I mean, every single like update, they add so many new things, so who knows, I'm sure they will add it at some point. It's not in there at the moment, but that's fine. And then I should note also that the foliage tool is available, but not for Fortnite assets, and that is something that I'm going to talk about a little bit later. So this was actually just really cool, and this is something that you can do inside of Unreal Engine 5 that I didn't know about until I made this project, which is another one of my points, is that jumping into UEFN, it's not learning a new platform. All of these skills that you learn in there are still Unreal Engine. So if you're worried about like upskilling in a tool that is gonna be like not useful for you and your company and what you already know, it actually is, because I'm learning stuff about Unreal Engine constantly using UEFN. So this tool, I love it. For those of you who don't know about it, it is, you basically can mask out parts of your island and then you can copy and paste them around. And this was super, super useful for me because especially when I cut that island down smaller, I didn't want to lose some of the beautiful little aspects that were around the edges, so I could copy them and then move them closer in and then just get rid of the outside area. But yeah, super, super cool tool that I just wanted to share with y'all. So, assets. There are a number of different ways that you can get your assets into UEFN. And some of them are, you know, better and easier than others, but I'm going to run through all of them for you. There's the Fortnite assets, Fab assets, obviously Unreal Marketplace assets are available as well, and you can import your own assets. So let's go from Fortnite assets and talk a little bit about some of the pros and the cons of using these assets. So the pros is that they are immediately usable. They are in these folder structures that are really fantastically searchable. You can look up like building parts or nature, or you can like search specific biomes as well, which is incredibly useful. And they are just natively in there as soon as you open up UEFN. They are also really small optimized file sizes, so all of them are baked. And that is also something I'm going to talk about when I talk about Fab and Marketplace assets, because they can potentially tank your project of memory size. The Fortnite assets won't. You can basically just like throw like a ton of Fortnite assets into your project and it will not tank your project at all. And there's so many to choose from, so it's fantastic. Bundles and prefabs, which I'm going to talk about in the next slide, very, very useful. And so the cons. It can't be used with the foliage tool. I'm not actually 100% sure why, but you just can't. You can use other things with the foliage tool, like you can use fab assets, marketplace assets, and your own assets, but you can't use the Fortnite assets, which was a little bit annoying for me because I was using a lot of the foliage as the Fortnite assets, and I had to hand place them. I'm sure a lot of you know before the foliage tool came out how tedious this can be. So going back to not having foliage tool, I was like, ugh. Yeah, and you can't edit the materials or meshes, and they can't be exported, and you know, that's fair enough. So these are some of the prefabs, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how I use the prefabs to my benefit to make a part of the Cat Cafe, this is the witch tower on the hill. So basically I chose this kind of haunted mansion, and I chose the princess castle assets, and then I kind of just picked them apart and chopped them up and then shoved them back together again, along with assets from the pirate packs and like, I don't know, searching for random wooden boards and doors that I liked and whatever. But I did find that it helped me with my workflow and the speed of my workflow, using these prefabs as a kind of template for me to then pull apart and put back together. I did it the other way as well, as in for the Cat Cafe itself. I actually just, you know, looked through all of the walls and I was like, I want that wall and that floor, and I built a house like that, and it took freaking ages. But this one was actually pretty streamlined, so I recommend trying out this kind of workflow. So let's talk about Fab. Fab is inside of UEFN as well, and it is basically just like a little marketplace. You can download baked assets and not baked assets. So basically you can get like the optimized version, and you can get the one that has all of the exposed parameters and the materials and the textures. As you can see with this gorgeous little watermelon that I put in here. Yeah, so I have to say that I did use a few fab assets, and when I ran a memory calculation at the end, because I actually went quite over the memory count, which is something that we'll talk a bit about later with optimization stuff. But when I went into that, all of the things that were tanking my project were fab or marketplace assets and stuff, so definitely useful and definitely use them, but just when you're starting out, just keep that in mind, is that they will be larger in file than your Fortnite optimized assets as well. So like, by all means, like, for example, I have this coat rack that I got from Fab that I like absolutely love, and I was like, it totally makes the space, and I'm not getting rid of it, even though it's like double the size of like a lot of other things. But, you know, just something to keep in mind is to use them sparingly. And then marketplace assets are available to you as well. The downfall of this is that they're not right inside of UEFN. They're obviously on the market store. You have to make a Unreal project, put them into that project and migrate them over, which is like not the most time efficient thing to do. But like, is that playing? It's not, but now it is. Obviously, if you want something specific like cats, then you can get stuff from Marketplace as well. And then you can obviously import your own assets, which is, great, because who doesn't want to use their own assets in their own game, am I right? So I showed this little scene here because this is Meow, the kitty under the mountain. Please laugh at my cat puns, far out. And I wanted these treasure piles. There wasn't anything in the Fortnite assets that really was that I wanted for my treasure pile, so I just made that myself, and that's totally fine to do as well. The other thing that I should say with using your own assets is that a lot of UEFN projects on the store, they actually do look quite similar, because a lot of people do just make these things that have all Fortnite assets. They just use a like stock standard map, and you know, a lot of the stuff does end up looking really samey. If you do put some of your own assets in it, it really does set your project apart from a lot of the other ones on there. So I really, really recommend taking the time to just do that. You don't have to go crazy, like, you know, this isn't like your, I mean, unless you want it to be your like 2-year indie project, you do you. But like, if you want to do like some just really simple things that can set your project apart from the other ones. For example, I made these like rug textures, and I made a whole heap of them. And I have dragged and dropped them onto a whole lot of like rugs and floors and cat towers and pillows and stuff. And it's just like having that little touch of your own kind of thing, and especially like in an asset that takes up so much of screen space, it really like makes your thing look different. So here is a little video of the inside of the Cat Cafe, and you can see some of those combination of all of the different assets from all of those different stores. And yeah, this is the Cat Cafe. All right, let's talk about water. There are a bunch of different things that you can use for water. Obviously, if you start with an island template, it will come with the ocean, and you can edit the waves and the height of the waves and the speed of the waves and all that kind of stuff that you're used to in Unreal. You can add lakes and rivers that are all spline-based, and when you add them, they when you mush them together, the water like goes together. I wish I had a more technical way of saying that right now, but you get what I mean. It's also like if you were to swim through it as well, you don't get like stuck on like a seam or like fall through the face of the earth or something. Same with boats. So like, yeah, seamless waterways. And there's also a whole heap of waterfalls and a whole heap of particle effects. I didn't mean to just like drink water on my water slide, but you know, it also pours for effect. Yeah, so here are some of those spline rivers working. This was actually really, really useful for me because, as I said, my island was freaking humongous. And I kind of split up a bunch of these little like very populated mini biomes all over the island. So using a river to kind of break up some of that forest and monotonous parts of the landscape, so it's not just like building forest, was really incredibly useful. So yeah, this is just a little bit of set dressing of that little waterfall area. You can see when you move the splines as well, the landscape kind of forms to it as well, so that's really super, super useful. And here's a little video of what that looks like all set dressed and everything on that side of the island, which, yeah, it really turned a kind of nothing zone of the island into like a really beautiful feature for like not too difficultly. So it was quite good. Use your rivers and lakes. Let's talk about the lighting. This is super cool, actually. Just straight out of the box, you get this time of day slider, and that just like cycles through the day. When you press play, it'll just go from day to night, just yeah, out of the box. If you want to pause that, you can. And if you want to have a little bit more control, you can use a day sequence device. I'm going to go much deeper into devices in a little bit, but we'll start with the day sequence device, and that is basically just opens up all of these parameters for you to be able to change the color of the light, the gradient colors in the sky. You can change the size and how many clouds there are as well. So you can have like more of an overcast day or some of the clouds a bit more split up. You can, and you can change the color of the clouds as well. So you can see here, to give my map just a very kind of mystical, magical feeling, I have made the sky incredibly extra. And the clouds here as well. I just think I don't know why they're like so grey. They maybe just look so grey because of me putting all the pink in there. But yeah, just literally just throwing in this day sequence device and changing up the sky completely transformed the entire look and feel of the map. So definitely check that out and play around with them. I should say I paused the day and night sequence in this because something to be mindful of. I used a lot of different post-processing volumes all around my map, and when it cycles between day and night, you can get different kind of effects and stuff. So in some of my darker areas at night, it was very, very dark, and it really changed like the feel that I was going for. So there's just something to be mindful of if you want everything to be consistent. Devices. I mean coding. No, sorry, I don't mean coding. I mean devices. No coding was done in this project. No. Yeah, so I should note that verse does exist. You can code. I didn't, but you can. It's not C++, it's verse. And I'm not going to talk about it because I don't know. And that's not what this talk is about anyway. We are going to talk about devices though, because you can make a game that is entirely built out of devices with absolutely no coding knowledge at all. So I'm going to show you how exciting that is. Behold, device library. Look at all of the fun things. You can see the day sequence device. There it goes. That's it. There are just like fireflies. There's a fuel pump. If you put cars in there, you can like fuel up your cars and stuff. There are like practical things like dialogue boxes and like triggers and buttons and all of that kind of like stuff that you actually use for the game stuff. But then there's also really fun things like VFX spawners and a big red truck. Woo! So I'm going to show you how I set up some of the stuff in my game. This is what happens in the game. You find a cat and you send it to the cat cafe. Now let's look under the hood. I have added a sequence devices. So these, you can plug your sequence animations into those, and I put two there. One is the animation of the cat outside, and then one is the animation of the cat in the cafe. There is a button here so that when you approach the cat, you click on the button and it sends it to the cafe. There is an accolade device, and this is what grants players XP, which I'll be talking about a little bit later as well. There is this VFX spawner, that was the green thing that went up. You can plug your own Niagara particle effects that you make into that as well. And then this is a dialogue device. That's just like where you can put your dialogue. This one is a HUD message device, and that's basically was like my global thing that was like, hey, everybody who's playing this game, this cat has been found now, that broadcasts to everybody. And that's basically like a massive part of the game loop of my game, is that I have 20 cats around the island, and I have set up these things all over the island whenever you find a cat. Now let's talk about the global device setup that I have made, basically so that it is a whole game. Is that playing? Yeah, there we go. Okay, so these are player spawners. So You could play with 16. I've cut it down to 4. 16 is not that necessary, but you live and learn. These are the accolades. So these are the ones that give achievements. So I've got like when you've patted 5 cats or 10 cats, when you've collected all of the mice, when you've collected all of the cats, when you've done some fishing. Like I've added a bunch of those things. There's an audio device. That was the purple box that I just pulled up there. This is controlling the splash screen at the beginning when the game starts. This one is the HUD controller. You can switch, like it gives you control over like all of the different HUD aspects that are in the game natively. They're the trackers, so tracking how many cats and how many mice you've gotten. This is a trigger that triggers everything. And there are NPCs that you can choose from as well. So this is the woman that I chose to greet you at the door. And she says things at the beginning of the game and at the end of the game, and that's why there were 2 of those. This is an end game device, so what happens when you finish the game? That is an available little robot thing. They're all very funny as well. I like that that they've got their own little like personalities as well. It's very cute. This is a mutator zone, so basically it picks up, I shoved it under the map because it was very big. It basically picks up everybody at the end of the game and teleports them into the cafe, and then there's a timer there that basically boots everyone out of the game when you're done. So that's like really, honestly, it's as easy as that. That's a whole game. So let's have a look at what that looks like from the start of the game. This is what happens when you start the game. You get the little splash screen, as I mentioned. I didn't mention there's collectibles as well. That's also a device that you can use, so you can collect mice. It adds to the trackers up there. The trackers are on because of the HUD device that I used that said that the trackers are on. This is talking to that lady and sending the cat home. And this is the accolade device giving you XP as well. More mice, more mouse. Door. And then you can pat the cat. It's very important that you can pat the cat. Yeah, and then there's also like a music device playing within the cat cafe as well. So that's basically the whole flow of the game. Let's get into some more devices that I've used all over the island as well. There's fishing. And you're not supposed to be able to do that, but I can't switch it off. So you can get guns and ammo. They can't do anything, but they're in there. There are grind rails, which was really fun to make the little puzzle there. There are these air vents that you can use to propel yourself into the sky. That's super useful for if anyone gets stuck anywhere. It was funny, I put a lake in and it was really like pushed into the ground because the lakes kind of make the landscape form around them. I just thought it looked so cool, but there was no way to get anyone out of them, so I used the air vent. There's also motorbikes, and there's also chickens. These are actually, these are really cool. They're wildlife spawners. You can change it to like wolf or frog or rabbit or whatever, and how many of them you want and how often they spawn and blah. So that's really cool. There's just chickens all over the island, because why not? All right, let's get into the technical stuff. Let's talk optimization. This was, something that I kind of wish that I had known a lot earlier on. So you're all so lucky to know what's happening here. If you see on the far side, there is, up the top it says current memory usage. And on this side, it says project size. So these are 2 different things, and I was so confused about why they were 2 different things. Basically, this side is your editing mode, and that is just telling you like the assets that you put into the entire project. And then on the far side, that is in Pi, and that is telling you the memory usage size for your specific world partition square. And so you basically need to make sure that you don't have too much stuff that's all packed together. And boy, is that the first thing that I did. So I learned pretty quickly to not do that though. So that's why I ended up using kind of a lot more of the island and making these kind of like little dense zones all over the island that then have like fun little ways to get to them with the motorbikes and with the zip lines and stuff like that. So you can be clever with like how to make a really fulfilling world whilst not tanking your memory usage, because it's really, optimization is really annoying and no one actually likes it, but it's very necessary. I should note there actually as well is that something that was tanking my project that I didn't realize was the texture sizes. So definitely check, especially if you're using fab or marketplace assets or your own assets, just like check the size of those textures because it absolutely tanks this. And it's just not necessary to have humongous textures in this thing. So let's have a look at what a memory calculation looks like. So what you do is you click on that, you click on the project button and do a memory calculation. You upload a version. This is version 8. I'm up to version 24 now. And basically what that does is I'm showing you a failed memory calculation here as well. It throws you into Fortnite and then zooms your character across the map and calculates like the memory amount in each of those world partition squares. And as you can see, memory calculated and you're over budget. So boo-hoo, let's fix that. And how are we gonna fix that? We're gonna look at the memory test results, which was really, really useful to find that this existed. Eventually I found it. So it's really great because you can see what is tanking your project and you can see how many. So for example, I'm like, oh, silver spoon, there's only one of them, but it's using quite a lot of space. I'm not going to delete the sign on the front of the cafe because I kind of need that. But it's good to know that you can search and it can just like take you straight to assets. I have to say another thing that was really good for optimization was using the same plants in the same like biomes that you're using so that it uses the same instances. That's kind of, yeah, a bit of a no-brainer. At least it should be because I had to change a lot of those plants out. All right, so once you've done all of that and your game is like ready to be published, what happens next? You go back to your trusty Fortnite creator portal. I should say before you publicly publish your game, you should have a bunch of privately published games that you can play with your friends and play test. And do this early. Literally make an island, don't even put a thing into it, and publish a private version and jump in and just like learn what the workflow between like doing a memory calculation, uploading it onto the thing, and putting the code into Fortnite and testing it. Like, do all of that early on because you're going to be doing it a bunch, and it's just nice to like for it to be like muscle memory. And yeah, you can invite, I think it's up to like 30 people you can invite to your project to play as well. So like get all of your friends who play Fortnite, get more people to play Fortnite as well, even people who, my brother now has Fortnite, who's furious. Yeah, get as many people as possible to play test, especially if your game is multiplayer. Oh my God, most of the things that went wrong with my game were like the multiplayer aspects and like different aspects of the HUD showing or not showing and stuff. So like, test. So also when you're going to publish your game, you're going to be asked for a thumbnail and you're going to be asked for a trailer. You don't need a trailer, but I highly recommend that you do make a trailer, especially if you want your game to stand out from other people's. And then success, hopefully. Yeah, so make a thumbnail. Woo! Yeah, thumbnail, big success. Wow, wow. No, they were like, you can't show XP. You can't say that the XP exists in this because it's a big old lie. I was like, Okay, that's fine. And anyway, this one worked. All right, well, I am now going to show you the Cat Cafe trailer. So, coming this summer. Actually, it's already out. Please play it. I should mention filmed with sequencer as well, so you can use that for your trailer. Thank you. I'm just going to put it back on here. So making this trailer, it's gone really well. It was really nice to be able to show this with, I'm in a bunch of Discord channels as well. I absolutely recommend, if you are going to be working on UEFN maps, to join the Discord channels, there's Reddit threads as well that are super useful, getting people to give you feedback and advice, and if you have any questions, like, people are so willing to answer them, as well as it being gratifying when you can answer other people's questions too. And being able to share stuff like this and everyone kind of celebrating in what you've created as well, and people who know your pain that you've been going through as well. Hopefully not too much pain, but yeah. I should also mention, so to make this trailer, I said that I used sequences within UEFN, but there is another very cool feature if you want to get in-game footage, is if you actually play Fortnite or play your map with your friends, there is a replay mode in Fortnite, and you can switch off all of the HUD stuff, and you can get some really nice cinematic shots out of that. You can like pause it, you can do slow-mo, you can like, yeah, it's so incredibly useful. You also don't have to just be like following your character around. You can pause it and then like take the camera out and fly around to literally like the other side of the map. So for all of the in-game footage that I used for that trailer, that was that, and very glad that I found that feature. So, after I published my game, I'm going to tell you the story of me publishing my game. I kind of clicked play, and I clicked publish, and I was told by people that no one would really play it for like quite a while, like maybe even 2 weeks before it actually makes it onto like the discovery things in Fortnite. So I was like, okay, I can chill, I can work on some of the like little bugs and stuff and work towards another, like publishing another thing. Publishing an update. So I was just working away, and then all of a sudden I was like, I looked at the analytics page and it was like 300 people are playing your game right now. And I was like, oh my God. So I, of course, had to jump on in and play around with some randoms playing my game. And this is just the most beautiful and gratifying moment of finishing a game with a whole bunch of people who dressed in their cat outfits for the occasion and found all of the cats and just jumped around and danced in the cafe at the end state of the game. So it was just a really beautiful experience. Also, that girl has a chicken, and I loved that she was just running around the cafe holding this chicken. Brilliant. So, I'm going to talk to you about some of the things that happen after you publish the game that you should also probably know about before you publish your game. XP, the accolade devices. What I was talking about, these little star guys that give you XP. So they are not just immediately switched on when you publish your game. You have to wait for a calibration. So that's basically a certain amount of people play and collect the XP, and then UEFN calibrates all of the people who have found them, and makes sure that it's giving out the correct amount of XP, I imagine, so that people don't just make like XP farming games or I imagine that's why. So it makes sense. But also for me, who was like, yeah, I have XP in my game. Wait, why don't I have XP in my game? That was the reason. And I made an update because I thought that maybe if I updated it, that it would work again. But then that just put the calibration back to the beginning. So make sure that when you publish your game, it is the one that you want to kind of ride through to like get to past that calibration phase as well, because it definitely is a perk for people playing your game. If they know that they're going to get XP from it, it's definitely incentive for them to play. So just be mindful of the calibration. And then I'm going to tell you a little bit about the analytics tools that I found super useful as well. This one was the first one that I found. It's Fortnite.gg. Basically, it shows you the pages that you're showing up on in Fortnite, which was really cool to see how they were being grouped, whether you're like a casual game or like new to UEFN, etc. And then this shows you like how many players are playing right now and your little graph and how much estimated earnings you've made. I don't know how accurate that is, but it is kind of exciting to be like, oh, not really accurate, says Tony. Anyway, apparently I made $1 or something. Yeah, anyway. It's kind of cool to watch stonks. And then also, of course, there is the actual creator portal analytics, which I'm sure are a lot more accurate. And they show you like how much XP people have gained. It shows you the lifetime player count, which is really lovely as well. I think the Cat Cafe is up to now like 40,000 unique players. Actually, I should tell you this story. Actually, on the way to the conference this morning, I was in the airport. It was like 6 a.m. because I'm insane. And I just thought, oh, check my analytics thing. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. There's 300 people playing. And then I looked again and I was like, oh, there's 500 people playing. And then there was 1,000 people playing. And then there was 1,200 people playing. So I was just like, this is the perfect thing to happen just before giving my talk, is that randomly the Cat Cafe is just popping off. Yeah, so it's been incredibly rewarding and really, really fun to watch the number go up. So, to conclude, it is still a new platform. There are a lot of things coming out. Like every update, there are so many fun, exciting things that they've added to it, and that is actually just really, I find that really fun to be a part of that ride. And as I said, I had lots of fun. It was really empowering and rewarding for me to be able to jump in and make a game from start to finish by myself as well. So that was incredibly rewarding and just so much fun. There is lots and lots of potential for this platform. Not to say that it's a negative. I think it is just a product of what it is at the moment. A lot of the games that you see on here are very much like red versus blue. There's like 1 billion football tycoon. I don't know, there's like 1 million of those kinds of things. Very samey. They get a lot of hits as well, which is also like, oh, maybe I should have just made a box building game or something. But that being said, I think that it makes sense. And also I think that it is a wonderful environment for interesting and new ideas to come in, because I think a lot of people have just been, making stuff because why not? But I think that there is a huge market for, I believe, that there is a huge market for really interesting and innovative indie games to end up on this platform. It's gratifying for the developers because it's quick and it's easy to get an idea out. And I think that this platform could end up being really, really interesting in the future. So, is it worth it? For me, it absolutely was. And I can't even wait to start my new map. I have a bunch of ideas, which I'm very, very excited about. But yeah, is it worth it? I think, honestly, ask yourself what you want to get out of it. If you want to try and make like a cash grab tycoon game, go for it. Like, you'll have to compete with all the other ones there, but like, absolutely go for it. If you want to make something like really cool and indie and interesting, then yeah, go for it as well. But yeah, I had a heap of fun, and I will literally talk to anyone who will listen about this and try to get them involved. So yeah, that's me. Thanks for coming. If you have any questions or anything as well, like, feel free to hit me up on social media at any time. And also there's the island code there if you want to play.
Yeah, hi.
Hi.
I was just sort of wondering whether you did much external marketing for your game?
So I have done a little bit. I posted a TikTok of the trailer. I just like reformatted it into the like TikTok format. And on Instagram as well, I've done a little bit, and Twitter. I actually have a lot of marketing material that I have prepared that I haven't actually posted yet, because I kind of wanted to wait for the hype to go up a bit and then post some of the marketing material to kind of like keep the momentum going. So in short, yes, I have, but also not really yet. But I think that from everyone who I've spoken to, they say that it is a fantastic idea and you absolutely should market your maps. Oh, also, and on Reddit as well. I've got a bunch of hits and people being excited on Reddit, so yeah.
Just on marketing, there's a lot of Fortnite YouTubers,
Yeah.
stuff like that, influencers. Do you know if that, like, talking to them, if that's a community that works?
I absolutely think that that is a good idea. I have not done that. There is a random person who has played it and posted a video on YouTube, like just that happened. So, but yes, I think that that is a fantastic idea, and I absolutely think that you should do that. Another question. Yeah.
You said there's like a wildlife, or you know the chicken, that's a wildlife form or something?
Yeah.
Can you make custom assets that follow the same like integration?
I don't think so, but you can add, there are AI devices, like path devices, and there's a number of different ones of those that do various different things that you can add your own animated meshes into if you wanted to add your own meshes to run around and do stuff like that. You don't have to use the wildlife one. Like, you might be able to if you go into Verse. I'm sure you probably could, but out of the box on the device, I don't think so.
Just on the, imagine you made something like Next Team Fight Tactics or Dota or something like that. What's the intellectual property? Because obviously the game is tied deeply into Unreal Engine in a way that you could possibly get out, but like, do you give up any rights to things that you make to put on this platform, or like, what do you keep, what do you give away?
Good question, and I'm not actually sure, but I know that when you are posting these games, you can't use any of the IP from like Fortnite packages that they've done. Like if there's done like a Dragon Ball Z thing or something, you can't use that kind of stuff in your game. Like in the trailer, even if you're playing as one of those characters, you can't. So it's kind of the opposite of your question, answering the opposite of your question. But the other way around, I don't actually know, and I'm sorry about that. Cool. Any more questions?
Would you say, like, if an artist came in and wasn't too experienced with Unreal, but they wanted to make a game, would you say that would be fairly achievable for them? Absolutely. And I think that it would be really fantastic to get juniors in this and playing around with it and becoming familiar with Unreal Engine. I think that, yeah, that's a fantastic question. And yes, I think that's a wonderful idea. I actually think that game jams in UEFN would be really wonderful as well. I'm super excited for like a UEFN jam. I think would be so fun, and there would be some really, really cool ideas that would come out of that as well.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can answer this, but I don't know if it was a rumour or which, but do you know if everything you've used in Verse or the editor for other things apart from the Fortnite like ecosystem, like for any of their other games or any other systems?
I'm not sure. I don't think so, but like I'm not sure. You could maybe ask like Tony or Jack or Chantel about that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I know that, I mean, I've heard that there's like a whole like metaverse thing, which this also feels like that. Actually, on that note, you can add portals in your games to other ones of your games as well, which is super cool. So if you make a little experience and you want it to lead on to another one, you can do that. Yes?
Like as a real-time artist and it doesn't really know the Fortnite world, how important is it to understand the Fortnite universe to create something in it?
0.
Like, obviously Fortnite players are coming into it.
Yeah.
Is there some expectation of how that gameplay actually works?
I hope not. I did get a very, very angry tweet today saying, like, why did you make this? You ruined my night. Which I was just laughing on the plane, like, why did this upset you so much? It's a cat cafe. You saw the thumbnail. It says cat cafe on it. So, like, I don't think so, but I think if you do want to make one of those, like, very clickbaity kind of things, then sure, I think you probably should know what UEFN games are going really well and, yeah, etc. But, like, for me, I play Fortnite. I like Fortnite. But, like, the Cat Cafe has absolutely 0 to do with Fortnite or what Fortnite players, I think, would even want. So, and it's done relatively well as well. So you never know. Yeah.
Sorry, she said. Sorry, since the start. What was the total amount of time for the project when you started to press publish?
Oh, sorry, what was that?
The total amount of time you spent on the project?
Oh, yeah, it was about 3 months full-time. I kind of started a little bit before the 3 months, but really, like, full-on 3 months, yeah. Yeah. Okay, is that it? We're done. Cool, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for coming.